Hey, roll tide, everyone. It's Tuesday night. It's the night that you look forward to every week other than game day. The Bama Standard is on the air. Before we get started, do a few things for me. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, live chat. Let's get rowdy tonight. We got a lot to talk about. We all know what is on your mind. And if you're watching the replay, that's okay too. We do need you to comment in the section below, marked especially for you. Show us some love there. I'm your host, Justin Riley. With me, as always, one of the finest analysts who will never shy away from sharing his opinion. He is the king of the strip in Tuscaloosa. Daniel Pettey is back in the building.
Woo! Guys, it is buckle your chin strap week. We got Boomer coming to town, and there's no better Alabama player on planet Earth to share the stage with on a night like tonight than someone who came straight from the buckle your chin strap era. Woo,
wow,
so let's go.
That's incredible segue. Listen, Marvin Constant is out on one of his famous trips, and we're the Bama Standard, so we have to go find the standard to bring it back in and ensure a quality show. And tonight we did just that. You could actually call him a Grand Slam champion, SEC champion, national champion, Super Bowl champion, one of the baddest dudes to ever tote the rock, and one of the baddest dudes to have a touchdown celebration. He has been on here countless times, but he is royalty when he comes on. Ladies and gentlemen, he is our guest panelist, the one, the only, Derrick Lassic. What is up, Derrick?
Nothing much. How y'all doing?
Man, glad to have you here, man. It's been way too long. We saw you in the summer. We got a lot to catch up on, and we're going to be hitting on some things tonight that are near and dear to your heart, so we're ready to talk about it.
Great day to be alive and be an elephant.
Absolutely. Roll Tide. So I do have to put you on the spot. I talked about touchdown celebrations. It's just us. You're in a safe place. Who had the better touchdown celebration? You or Sherman Williams?
Ooh, that's. I kind of like the shake. See, but I did it first. So he got to work on his. So mine was just, spontaneous.
I like the heart attack.
I do too.
I got it from Fred Sanford. Sanford and Son was my favorite.
Is that what that was? Is that where your inspiration? I never knew that.
Oh, yeah. That's where I got it from. Fred Sanford.
Oh, it's the big one. I love it. Okay.
The big dummy.
So in the rankings, it's you, Sherman, and maybe Kaylee. I heard Kaylee could dance.
Oh, yeah. He could dance, but I don't recall seeing him do a dance on a football field, but yeah, we used to say he had a chant. I forget the chant, but whenever we go out, the whole football team would chant it.
Okay,
be a freak, dance like Kaylee, something like that. he could have been on the Magic Mike show.
Oh, dang.
I don't think his dances were permitted on national TV.
But now on the internet and OnlyFans, maybe so, but not here for sure.
And it wasn't short. It was short after that the NCAA went straight stick up the ass and started, like, you couldn't do anything. You couldn't dive into the end zone. There was no celebrations. And I'm kind of glad they're letting the kids enjoy it a little more. It is a game after all. I mean,
yeah, I got a 15-yard penalty in the national championship for spinning the ball. I see the guy spiking the ball now, throwing the ball, and it cost us 15 yards. We would have the ball first and goal because they face masked me. We would have the ball first and goal at like the 3-yard line, 2-yard line, but we had the 15-yard penalty, so we had to go back to the 18-yard line. And Coach Stallings was livid. I was running to the sideline. I was like, oh, my God, he's going to kill me. But he wasn't mad at me. He was mad at the official. He said, hey, you just keep running that ball like that. He shouldn't have made that call. That's horse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious. What was more intimidating, Coach Stallings or that defense you faced in practice every week?
Ooh, I wouldn't want to see either one of them. But not when you're in trouble. I'd rather face that defense than Coach Stallings. Because when you were in trouble with Beebs, yeah, you in trouble.
You told some good stories about Gene, and I know to get into that, I know a lot of the Bama fans still hold a special place for Coach Stallings in their heart. But man, I didn't realize just how special he was until we got to hang out with you guys in Dothan, over the summer. Just to this day, what Coach Stallings meant to you guys on that team.
Yeah, we went from Coach Stallings, who treated us like kids. We couldn't do this, we couldn't do that. Coach Stallings treated us like adults. He was coming from the NFL, so I guess that's why. And he said, listen here, you go to class, you sit in the front of the class, you be on time. I don't care if you wear earrings. I don't care if you don't have tattoos. That's what you do. That's what you want to do. You do it. But understand that you're representing your family and university. So whatever you do, make sure you keep that in mind. And we just loved him. He was fair. He was hard but fair. And if you did what you were supposed to do, he didn't have any problems with you, and you wouldn't have any problems with him.
So I gotta ask, being in the NIL era, and we'll get to the good stuff in a minute. What would Derrick Lassic command from an NIL contract?
Ooh. That's a tricky question. I said I'm glad that NIL wasn't around when I was in school. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. And this is a true story. I lost my girlfriend in a car accident. And I was actually thinking about transferring out of the university to go home, to be closer to home. And Syracuse and Penn State were the two teams that I was looking at. And my dad told me, he said, son, are they doing what they said they were going to do? And I said, yes. He said, well, you keep your word as a man. You do what you said you're going to do. Now, if they weren't doing what they said they were going to do, then, yeah, we could think about it. But, you got to learn how to keep your word as a man. And, I don't know what I would have made at NIL. I know I wouldn't have made more than David Palmer, Eric Curry, John Copeland, Langham, Teague. So I would have fell below whatever they had. But, whatever I would have got, I would have been happy with. I just loved playing at the University of Alabama. The guys I met were still family today. That's the difference between my other visits. And people ask, why did you choose Alabama? Because they were like a family. They did things together. I went to other schools, and they were doing their own thing. Guys were doing this and doing that. When I went to Bama, they had a cookout and they were all together. They went to a club called the CC. Everybody was together. And it was just a great atmosphere. It was like being with your brothers. And I grew up in that type of environment.
Now
I have just a small family. I have 10 brothers, 6 sisters.
Small, small community, Derrick.
Yeah.
Your mom deserves a statue.
Well, my mom had 4 boys, 1 girl, and then my dad had the other kids.
Gotcha. So Brady Bunch type thing going on.
Yes.
Man, you mentioned the NIL. First of all, I think you were the one on the cover of Sports Illustrated after the title game. Don't sell yourself short there. I'm not sure you would have come that low on the list of NIL.
Yeah, exactly.
But even outside of the NIL in the new era, Derrick, we talked about this too. You were built for this era with your speed and size, man. Do you ever look at this era like the different offenses when Kiffin was at Bama or Sarkisian at Texas and what DeBoer and Grubb and them do and say, man, what would I have done in those offenses?
Oh, most definitely. I was a Chihuahua running a Great Danes offense.
Great. That's a perfect. Because you were 4-3 guy.
Awesome.
I was 4-3 guy, and I was everywhere I went. I was too fast for the linemen. They say you're too fast. You're too fast. But when I was in high school, my coach used to say, hit the hole. Don't be BSing. So I just used my acceleration to hit the hole, and it's timing. So. I would have loved to play in a Lane Kiffin or Sarkisian style offense where they used me. Well, who had foresight was Coach Bowden. He wanted me to play slot receiver my freshman year. Ooh. He said, look here, son, you can play as a freshman if you get in this play slot. I was like, man, I ain't playing no slot receiver. I would have went up against Prince because Prince ended up playing slot receiver as a freshman. Mm-hmm. I was like, man, I don't want to be a receiver. I want to be a running back. Bobby Humphrey was there, and I was like, yeah, I'll be the next Bobby Humphrey. I've been running the ball my whole life. I don't want to. Receivers are sissies. They're punks.
Prima donnas. Yeah, prima donnas.
But if I know what I know now, I would have been a receiver. Today I would be a receiver.
No doubt. No doubt. Hey, we got a lot to talk about. I want to give a quick shout out to everybody who's in the audience. We got Sweet Home Bama 24, Will Martin Jr., Joe Edwards, Tough as Nails, Kenny Hithcock, Latoya Billingsley, always in here.
Latoya, Roll Tide.
Ty Simpson, Burner, Don Parker, Levon Wilson. And we got this. Yeah, I don't miss anybody. Oh, RTR Mimi. Hey, thank you to everyone who's going to be here tonight and those who are yet to come. I see you, RK Young, Keith. Hey, let's get to it. We got a lot to talk about. Matter of fact, the very first statement that was made was from RTR Mimi, which is a great segue to our first topic. Excited to find out what Derrick thinks about Saturday's game. Well, let's go ahead and dive right into it. Alabama versus LSU recap. Let's start it out on a positive. Can't speak any more highly for guys like Yanze Pierre, Nakai Hill-Green, LT Overton, Red Morgan, and you got Dijon Lee. The defense is coming alive at the right time, but I think what everyone has in their mind right now, dare I say, the anemic performance by the offense didn't look like they were prepared in that off week. I'm going to turn it over to you guys. What were your takeaways from this past game against LSU? Start us off, Derrick, and then we'll get down to Pettey.
Well, I think it's an attitude. I think they're so comfortable with the passing game, and I'm talking about the offensive line and the backs. I know the backs, want to run the ball. They want some holes. There are some plays I saw where the backs kind of missed a hole, and I don't know if that's from lack of repetition because they rotate so many backs. They have the Hill, they have Jam, and they have Riley, and they can't get a feel. When you have that many guys, you can't get a feel. When I was a running back, I like to get a feel for the game. You know what I'm saying? I need to get the ball at least 8-9 times in the first half to kind of get a feel for the game. And then the offensive line gets a feel for the game also. They understand the flow. And if you bail the offensive line out and the running backs by leaning on the pass, yeah, you have to win the game. But you have to say to them, hey, listen, we're going to run the ball. Whether you like it or not, you better do your job or we're going to send the next man in. And backs hit the hole, find the holes, be athletes. We can't be one-dimensional and beat Oklahoma. We're going to have to be able to run the ball against them because, what's the coach's name? Brennable? How do you pronounce it?
Venables.
Yes. He's a hell of a coach. I remember him at Clemson. I mean, he has his defense ready. I mean, we used to say, win on D, count on me. But offense, they're going to have to score points because I don't think Oklahoma is going to give up a lot of points defensively. So we're going to have to outwill them offensively. Yep. And our defense is playing solid. They're pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with how they've been performing lately. They had me nervous in the beginning, the first half of the season, but I think they got the right guys in the right position, and we're starting to get healthy. And it's going to be a good game. Oklahoma's 7-2, so they're not coming in, as some pushovers. We could look at last year's film and learn a lesson from that, how they dominated us last year.
And we'll definitely get to that. Their back's actually against the wall. Must-win game for the Sooners if they want to get to the college football playoffs. At Pettey, let's talk about what you saw against LSU. Of course, all eyes on the offense, and one of the most glaring things is for whatever reason, we still can't put touchdowns on the board in the second half of games. I don't understand why that's an issue, but it's definitely here. But before we kind of expound on that, what were your takeaways from Alabama versus LSU?
Like everybody saw, it was kind of sloppy out of the gate. But I don't know a time, and I was thinking about this before when I trying to break down why. When coming off of a bye weeks are good for injuries. I don't think they're good for an offense that's actually kind of in tune and running, because that week off does kind of, you're not doing the game prep on Saturday. Things are a little bit different. And I felt like that was kind of a little bit of the deal. Ty wasn't as sharp in the first half. And look, some credit's got to be given. We talked about it before the week. LSU just got rid of Brian Kelly. Frank Wilson, who is an absolute legend in the state of Louisiana, was taking over the program. Those kids were going to give a little bit more fight. And throughout the year, as horrible as LSU's offense has been, the one thing that's kept them in games has been their defense. So they're not a bad defensive team. So I think it was kind of a combination. You had a team, LSU was getting up, and look, they're playing Alabama. That's if they could salvage a part of their season, it would be come up here and beat the biggest monster on their schedule. So it was just a combination of all that. And then Ty wasn't hitting. And then again, there's the run game at this point. It's the DNA is what it is. I know we want it to be Alabama. We want it to be what Derrick was back then, the buckle your chin strap, but that's not what the offense is. This offense is relying on one of the, and again, it's not bad when you fall back on one of the top receiving cores in all of college football and a good quarterback. So the fact that Ty wasn't very sharp, the offense wasn't very sharp, that game wasn't ever even really in question. I mean, I watched it through a lens, and I know, Justin, you were getting nervous. And I'm like, dude, I know Bama's not playing great. LSU's still not a threat. I never felt like LSU was even a threat in that game. So even with it being a little bit like that, but again, I felt like it was just a combination of I know we love to overreact and overanalyze every game to the core, but let's go back to Derrick's years. They played a lot of ugly football games in 1992 and then beat the shit out of Miami in the national title. But there was games where they were losing to Tulane at halftime or Southern Miss, or there were some weird games that year. And sometimes you just got to win. Well, that's what the LSU was. It was a combination of a fired up team playing for Frank Wilson. They ran out of gas, and Alabama kind of came out sloppy off a bye week. I don't take much more out of it than that.
Time out. I missed the assignment. I missed that we had to go over to recap the LSU game first. You know, I'm gonna piggyback off of you. I think that Alabama thought that they're not good enough to beat us, you know, and we'll turn it up when we have to. You know,
right.
It's kind of like, the defense was playing lights out, but I think offensively we were a little lackluster. You know, it's like sometimes it's LSU, so you should be up for the game. But sometimes when you know you can beat a team, it's kind of hard to get up. It's like, you know, it's like Tulane. We were down at half or was tied halftime my year. We're like, oh, it's Tulane. We're going to beat them. And then we kind of chewed each other out at halftime and we picked it up or not. So, you know, I think I want to see how they respond when they're down in the beginning of the game and how they respond to being down. I think you'll see a different offense at that point. Kind of like we did in South Carolina. It seemed like we were playing lackluster the whole game, and then when we had to score, we went right down and scored and got the 2-point conversion. And, you know, you need those games. You need to be challenged. I like for us to be challenged because when it comes to the championship games, and they're going to be close games, you want to know you can win those close ones. You know, you got to win when you don't have your fastball, as they like to say.
I agree with you when it comes to battle tested, absolutely. But I think you're on to something too. I feel like Alabama, as I kind of look back on it, taking all the emotions out, I felt like they thought they could play with their food and they could do just enough to get by. I mean, it's obvious when you got 30, 40 seconds on the game clock, we drive the length of the field, we put in the end zone. It seems like whenever Alabama needs to score, they can do it like that. But you kind of like to see that happen a little bit more consistently and just come out with a sense of urgency and just put the game away when you have the opportunity. But I don't think you're very far off in saying that Alabama essentially was playing with their food because they could.
Hey, and I've always said great teams cover the spread. They covered the spread.
Yeah. You know, we have some trick plays, and I don't mind them on 2-point conversions and stuff like that. But as Coach Stallings used to say, trickery is treachery. You know, you don't want to be running trick plays. You're giving the team, you know, they have to run trick plays to beat us. You know, I mean, there's a time and a place for everything, but not in the second quarter. You know, then you lose 14 yards, and I just don't. Hey, get in the rhythm. Get in the rhythm. You know, we know we're a power puncher. We like to knock you out with the passing game. Use the running game as your jab. You know, and the better you use your jab, the better your power is going to be. So the better we run the ball, the better we'll be collectively as an offense. But we have to take pride in it. It has to mean something to us. mean them rather.
Yeah.
And
It means something to us, the fans.
And I'm so with you on the trick plays. It works one time, and it's like a coach thinks, and it worked one time because you tricked them, right? You're not going to trick them twice, but a coach always tries to trick them twice. You're like, no, and then they lose 20 yards on the second one.
I like the way they use him Proctor, though. I thought I was going to listen. Let him get a carry. Let him get 6 yards and show front backs and offensive linemen, you know what to do. Even though we're going to miss him at left tackle, but yeah, how they use him, I like it. They put him at receiver and fake the ball to him, and that was clever.
How come y'all didn't do that for Roosevelt?
Yeah, I don't know.
I've seen his dance moves when he was at Viger. Boy, he got moves.
He got some moves. He could have faked out a few defenders.
Yeah, Roosevelt would have thought he was a running back for real and didn't want to go back on the offensive line if we would have done
that. Well, yeah, I get excited about seeing Caden Proctor used in that way. You definitely want to see the big man score, but you also got to look at the other side of it. If, God forbid, he gets hurt, we just lost our all-star left tackle, and we'll be in a world of hurt because a freshman comes in who's inexperienced. So save it for the Eastern Illinois game. Let him get it then, but then this stays strictly business because we got playoffs still to get to, right?
Yeah. And then, you know, and I think I've seen them use a number of combination on the right side. We haven't quite gotten the right combination, so you need continuity, and they haven't had it. You know, they put the Formby out there, and then they'll switch him with the freshman. What's his name?
Michael Carroll.
Yeah, Carroll. Then you got 77 at.
Jaden Roberts, right guard.
Then you switch him out with the Geno guy, and I mean, listen, let's go against the defense on Monday in practice. Whoever does the best job run blocking and pass blocking for run drill and pass drill is going to start. And unless you play terrible, you're going to start and play the whole game.
I agree.
That in and out, you got to get in the rhythm of the game. It's hard to get in the rhythm of the game as an offensive lineman, and they're pulling you in and out of the game.
Absolutely.
But that's not any of the topics we're discussing.
Hey, we're going to get to that. I think we've done a pretty good job of recapping LSU. It's Oklahoma week, but Derrick, we brought you in for the very next topic specifically, and we got to hear from you. Tide run game needs to wake up. So I'm going to throw a few things at you guys to kind of introduce this properly. Let's look at Alabama compared to the other top 6 teams in the college football playoff rankings right now. We got Ohio State at number 1, averaging 155.1 yards per game. Then you got Indiana with 231.9. Texas A&M right behind them with 204.9. Then you got us, 111.9. Then we go to Georgia, 197.2. And Daniel Pettey's Ole Miss Rebels, 183.9 yards rushing per game. If we exclude Alabama, the top teams in the college football playoff rankings are averaging 194.6 yards per game. So let me open this thing up by asking a few questions. And we talked a little bit about this before we came on air, Derrick and Pettey. Do we really commit to the run game? I don't understand the blocking scheme a lot of the time. The situational run game might be the worst of all. And when the run actually works, we go away from it. So talk to me. Where do you feel like the state of the running game is right now? And let's try to work through possibly finding the solution. Start us off, Derrick, and then we'll go to Pettey.
I think the state of the running game, we're trying to find out exactly what type of running team we have. A power, a speed. You know, we have Hill, which is more of power. We have Jam and Riley, which are more to speed. I love the way Riley hits the holes.
Mm-hmm.
But it's got to be an attitude. You know, we have to adjust our attitude and say, hey, listen, when we need to get 3 or 4 yards, we have to get 3 or 4 yards, the running backs and the offensive linemen. And again, there has to be consistency in who's on the field, you know, because, you know, Roosevelt blocked different than Toby Shields. Mm-hmm. You know, and as a running back, I know that. I knew Roosevelt was more powerful. Toby Shields was more of a technician. So you kind of gauge it, and you only develop that experience from playing with them. And if you have different guys, it's too many guys for a running back to think about, oh, he's in now, I have to run this way. And like I said, it has to be an attitude. We have to say we're going to run the ball no matter who we're playing. And Ohio State and Indiana, they're in what conference is that?
The Big Ten.
Conference of two and then a bunch of teams.
Yeah, Big Ten. So that's the difference. That's why they're 1 and 2. I don't think they'd be 1 and 2 if they were playing against the SEC.
Nope.
Back in the day, we used to have cakewalk teams like Vanderbilt, like Mississippi State. Even back in the day, Mississippi State would play you tough.
They're still tough.
They were, pretty, but we don't have a mediocre team anymore. I mean, Florida's struggling. Who else is struggling? LSU. But on any Sunday or Saturday, they can beat you. And it's going to be a tough out. I mean, I wish I would have ran in the Big Ten, to be honest with you. I truly believe there's a difference, and there is a difference.
Definitely a difference.
In the trenches.
All right, Betty. There's definitely a difference between the SEC and the Big Two, but how do we begin to make sense of this running game? We're going to dive into it piece by piece because there are blame being placed in a lot of different directions. We got, of course, Jam Miller, which we're going to talk about in just a minute. We got the offensive line. And ultimately, the man who is in charge of everything, that's Ryan Grubb, but talk to us about the running game. How do we wake up?
I don't, man, we're week 10. But first of all, man, I got Keith calling me out every week for my triple agency here. Being a triple agent. I don't know if y'all watching the college playoffs. I don't know what to do if it ends right now. I've got 3 teams in the playoffs. My South Florida Bulls, my Ole Miss Rebels, and my Alabama Crimson Tide. It's just going to be, it's madness. Madness it is. Guys, we're 10 weeks into the season. I keep saying this, our DNA is what it is. I don't know that it improves in the next 3 weeks. Maybe, and Derrick was talking about it in the green room when we play East DeBoer State or whoever the hell, Illinois, whatever. Don't throw the ball, run it every time. But, man, Auburn's got a formidable run defense. This team we're playing Saturday, Oklahoma, I don't know if you've watched them. Their linebackers actually hit like linebackers, 38, 32. Those dudes freaking bring it. But you can get their secondary. So, this isn't the answer Bama fans won't because it's so against the DNA of the Crimson Tide. I get it. I grew up with Derrick Lassic. I grew up with Sherman. I grew up with all those guys too. Grew up with Bobby all the way through to Derrick and everybody that's still running in NFL today. But, man, I just don't think that's how this team's winning football games right now. And I don't think it's going to be how we win the football game Saturday. I think we're going to have to get Oklahoma through there. I think you're going to have to get some dirty runs on third downs. You're going to have to do what we've done all year and get runs where they matter. But honestly, I'm not sure it wakes up. If it does, hey, pleasantly surprised, because if the run game does wake up, this team's not beatable on offense because the receiving core is so in lockstep right now. I don't think anybody completely shuts down the passing game. The run game wakes up to be 150, 200-yard game, rushing game. You're talking about running to the national title. And I still think this team can do it because, look, what were you just talking about? The Big 12's 2 teams, one had to literally have the most miraculous catch of all time to beat a really crappy Penn State. It shows they don't play anybody. I know Ohio State, you can't deny their talent, but they've yet to get punched in the mouth and a bloody nose. What do they do in the first time they get in a real football game and get a bloody nose? Last year, they lost to Michigan before the playoffs, so it kind of bloodied their nose, and then they got it together. I'm not sure they get their nose bloodied, so I'm not sold. So even if the run – that's a long way of saying I'm not – if the run game gets going, I think this team is maybe a favorite to win the national title. Even without it going, this team can win with the DNA it's had all year.
And listen, Ohio State, I know I'm just a little off subject. Ohio State, they know they have to see that team – is it downstate? Michigan?
Yeah.
They know they have to run into Michigan. They haven't beaten Michigan in a couple of years.
Yeah.
That's in the back of their mind. And that's like a fighter who's fought somebody twice and they've been beat up by them twice. They're going to be a little, so Ohio State has a game on their hands come Michigan, especially is Justin, what's his name? Haynes? Is he
Justice Haynes?
Mm-hmm. He's gone?
No, he's up in Michigan.
No, I think he's hurt.
Oh, okay.
But if he was healthy, that would be a hell of a game. But in defense of Alabama's run, I think early in the season where they missed Jam, they were kind of trying to figure out what back went with the system, who they were going to start, and I think that hurt them a little bit, if anything, running the ball. So not to use that as an excuse, but I don't think Jam is Jam of last year because of the injury, and then he had that concussion which set him back. So I don't think we're looking at the same running back that we saw the past couple of years.
And I know a lot of heat is going towards him, and I was going to pull up a graphic about his running against LSU, but past few weeks he tends to drift away from the design path that's set for him. He's quick to bounce out. So my question is it still in the back of his mind, those injuries that he has suffered, both the concussion, the collarbone, but also do you throw a third thing in there too? Is there maybe a lack of trust in the offensive line setting up the blocking for him?
I got the perfect answer to that. He's pressing. He's trying too hard. You got to let the game come to you. When you hear all the chatter about, oh, we're not running the ball and we're not doing this and we're not doing that, you try too hard. You just got to let the game come to you, and don't press the issue. You want to make the big play every play. Take what the defense gives you, take the 3 or 4, and then that big 20-something yards, 40-something yard will happen.
Man, so being a running back, and look, man, Derrick, you guys, you're different, man. You're just built different. And I feel like so much of running back is instinctual, like you said. How can pressing, running's running, though, man. When you get it, you turn that next level. How can pressing get you out of that?
Yeah, because you're trying for the home run every time, and you can't hit a home run every time. And then you'll miss a hole trying for the home run. You see the hole, you be like, nah, but I think I can bounce it out and make this a 50-yard gain instead of taking that 5-6 yards. I've been guilty of that. The Mississippi State game comes to mind. I saw the hole. I said, no, I can bounce it out and make it to the outside. And those guys, the defensive guys, they had speed and they pushed me back, and I ended up losing like 10 yards. Where it looked like a hole, but it was deceptive. They were kind of baiting me into bouncing outside.
I don't think I asked that real well, and you answered it perfect. Good stuff.
You really did. And that actually perfectly described one of the plays that Jam made a bad decision in the 4th and 1 when he was in wildcat formation. If he just follows the path, as soon as he hits Jaden Roberts, who's pushing the linebacker out of the way, all he has to contend with is a safety. He makes him miss. Jam is more than likely running for the end zone. At worst in that play, he gets 5-10 yards. He's got the first down. We got a new set of downs. We're still going on that drive, possibly score, but instead he makes a bad decision, like you said, Derrick. He bounces to the outside, and waiting right there is Harold Perkins.
Yeah, and it's a couple of folds. One, you're trying to make the big play. 2, you're worried about the playing time the other guys got. So, if he does pretty good, your playing time is going to be diminished. So you're trying to make a big play when you should just take what they give you, take what the defense gives you, and eventually it'll come. You're constantly looking over your shoulder. Like, I was a little bit when Sherman was there. You're looking over your shoulder. He gets in the game. He goes for a 20-yard or a 10-yarder. I'm like, man, I got to match that. Or he's gonna take my carries. So you press a little more than just letting the game happen. When you're the man, you're going to be the man. You just relax, and it just happens. Like when I was in high school, my backup was pretty good. He got a full ride to Maryland, but I knew I was the guy, so I was relaxed, comfortable. Hell, by the middle of the 3rd quarter, I usually was out of games. I'd have 175 yards, 3 touchdowns, and my coach had a 3-touchdown rule. So if we were up 3 touchdowns, all the starters had to come out. And we were pretty good in high school, my high school team. And I won a state championship on top of that. So I won a state championship, national championship, and a Super Bowl.
Winners win.
Humbly speaking.
Winners win. I remember those days when I got pulled out, Justin, after 175 and 3 tutties in the 3rd quarter. You're just reminding me of my high school days there, Derrick.
Yeah, that's when we unplugged the Nintendo and we had to go and do our chores. No, Derek, you're right, man. When you had the pressure, yeah, absolutely. Because at Alabama, it was you, Sherman, Chris Anderson, but then you also had Terrence Lynch who could carry the rock, and
we
then
had two guys.
Martin Houston too.
Yeah, we had one guy flunk out, Junior Sewell. He was a help. If he would have kept his eligibility, he would. I don't think none of us would have played. You had Irvin Spikes, who transferred to another school, ended up playing with the Miami Dolphins. Before that was Saran.
Oh, Saran.
We had some backs come through.
And what was Turner? The fullback man, Kevin Turner.
KT, yeah,
KT was good out of the backfield, man. They should have blocked him.
The ball, he had sweet hands. He could run. Yeah. We used to call him Rathman.
Really?
Yeah.
Like Tom Rathman. That's okay.
Yeah, he was the dude for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, before we,
so he was a
sir,
tremendous player and a tremendous person, teammate.
Absolutely.
He taught me Garth Brooks.
Really?
Friends in low places.
Hey, y'all didn't know you were getting that tonight, did you, chat?
Listen to rap.
You telling me you didn't know Garth Brooks when you were in New York?
Hell no.
They didn't have that to have a straw.
I get in his car. He got the damn cup of dip, and then I said, "What is that you listen?" He said, "Man, you don't know nothing about no Garth Brooks." I said, "Hell no."
How many Garth Brooks albums do you own now, Derek? How many Garth Brooks albums do you own now, Derek?
One.
Friends in Low Places.
That's the only song I play.
That's awesome.
Friends in low places.
You definitely do. Hey, okay, we got to talk some Oklahoma, but before we do that, listen, the Sooners are coming to town, and what you need to do to get ready for them is grab yourself the official title towel to be waving in the air. You've heard of the terrible towel for the Steelers. This is much better. This is Alabama themed. Go to www.whitwillsports.com today. You enter the promo code STANDARD. You're going to get a nice discount courtesy of your favorite network, the Bama Standard Network. That's right, folks. Get your title towel today, preferably after the show. We don't need you leaving the audience. And make sure those Sooners know the Bama's coming. All right. We got to talk about the...
As the kids say these days, I didn't have Derrick Lassic singing Friends in Low Places on my bingo card tonight. So I have to regroup.
All I know is expect the unexpected on this show. Let's turn our attention to Oklahoma. Hey, we got to talk about both sides of the ball, and we're going to talk about the defense because they deserve to be talked about. You got to give them their flowers. After what we saw this past Saturday, guys, we can't be off mentally against Oklahoma. The Sooners are dangerous enough to take Alabama out the way we played last week. Oklahoma's front seven, we're going to break it down just how good they are. Their front seven is second in the SEC, only allowing 82 yards rushing per game. Oklahoma has the best scoring defense in the SEC, allowing only slightly more than 14 points per game. They're top two in almost every defensive category in the SEC. They got some dudes, Owen Heineke, Kobe McKenzie, R. Mason Thomas, and a stud freshman defensive back, Cortland Guillory. Guys, if our offense plays like we saw against LSU, it's going to be a tough day at the office. They got bend, don't break defense, but they don't really bend that much anymore. And let me add one more stat before I let you guys talk. Oklahoma has 18 players on defense that have a sack this season. Speaks a lot about how good they are. Derek, where's your comfort level with this offense as arguably the best defense in the country comes to Tuscaloosa? And then we'll go to Pettey.
Well, strength against strength. You know, their strength is their defense. Their coach is a defensive coach. Our strength is our offense. Our head coach is an offensive guy. So, you know, special teams, turnovers are going to determine who's going to win the game. And, you know, we haven't turned the ball over a lot, knock on wood, this year. Ty's only thrown one interception. I don't know if we lost a fumble or anything, but we've been very opportunistic on defense. We were coming around and we're starting to fly around the ball and cause fumbles and interceptions. So, you know, I think it'll be a 4-quarter game, and whoever has the least amount of turnovers, I think will be victorious.
Absolutely. Petty, where are your thoughts, man? I named some dudes on that defense, man, and they're coming. But where's your comfort level? Is this a game that Ty Simpson, we need to lean heavily on him again to pull it out?
Yeah, but I like it. I actually like this matchup, to be honest. If you go back, I'm going to go back a couple of games. If you want to look at it, you can go back to the Oklahoma Ole Miss game in Norman, and then go when they went on the road to Tennessee. I know they won that game, but if you go look back at the stats of that game, Tennessee worked them up and down the field. It was just one of those weird nights where Tennessee kept turning the ball over, doing stupid stuff. They had that huge fumble where the kid picked it up and ran into the end zone. And I think at halftime, Oklahoma was winning, but Tennessee was outgaining them 250-99. Mm-hmm. You play a clean, it's just what Derrick said, turnovers. You play a clean game. I think Alabama's actually a really good matchup. And we were talking about, do you have to run? It's going to be tough. That front seven's nasty as hell. They've got two linebackers that will straight hit you like Alabama fans like it. But the secondary is gettable. Like teams have been able to score on them. Tennessee was able to get to the secondary, but then I think Joey kind of started pressing Aguilar, making bad plays where they didn't against Ole Miss. On the flip side, Bama's defense has quietly become one of the better defensive units in the SEC, if not the best under Womack, especially with second half adjustments. And if you can get holy crap, the kid's name was just on my tongue. Their quarterback.
John Mateer.
Yeah, Mateer. God bless America. I could have spit it. If you get Mateer on the run, he starts to get a little inaccurate. So I do expect – I know Womack likes to get more pressure just with the front and let the other guys work and show the exotic back fronts. But if you can get Mateer out of the pocket, his accuracy goes down greatly. And I think – I don't know. Bama's defense is, like I said, been playing really well. The linebackers who caught a lot of hell early in the season, 41 McKeel Green has become the player they expected out of Colorado. Jefferson, his man, again, I know Marvin, and like, look, I know what Marvin sees stuff in linebackers we don't, and he was wanting to see some more out of the kid. But whatever he's wanting to see, I've seen it the last few weeks. That kid's kind of played like a headhunter. 10 has been a different animal, and it's changed the Bama defense because the linebackers are making plays. And then you got Pierre getting to the quarterback now. So if Pierre starts rushing, I like this matchup a lot. I do think Oklahoma's the toughest team left on they've got. You're going to see some real dudes on that defense, but I think this is a game where the wide receivers eat. In Bama's defense, I don't like Oklahoma's offense. Their run. You were talking about Bama's run game. Oklahoma's run game can even go more anemic than Alabama's. And if they're anemic in that stadium, they've had what 100 yard rushing. Huh? So look. This is a game where Bama makes them one dimensional, gets to Mateer.
Derek, you're shaking your head.
Yeah, I disagree. I think that last game is going to be a tough game. That Auburn.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I think we need to embrace that we're not running the ball well and just pass the ball to open up the run game instead of running the ball to open up the pass game. Loosen them up with the run and then them backs find some holes. And I'd like to see Riley get hell. I'd like to see AK Deer. I don't know where he went.
Well, man, let's ask about that, about the blocking. But look, Auburn is going to be weird. It's in the Indian burial ground. They're going to do their voodoo seances to get all the weird shit. But their offense sucks. They shot their load against Vandy. I don't know if they're on quit watch or not. Sorry, Freeze, he's gone. I guess I can't say that anymore. They probably just weren't good enough. But Auburn will get weird. But this is going to be the toughest game left before the playoffs. I think this one. But
I hope you're right.
I hope you're right too.
Because that Auburn going down to Jordan Hare, I mean, I don't know what kind of witchcraft, what kind of doctor.
It gets weird.
I won't forget the year we were undefeated and we played in Jordan Hare for the first time, and we were like a 10-point favorite. We couldn't stop Alexander Wright. He ran a 9 route the whole game. He's still running one, catching him for touchdown.
Man, look, that cost the coach not being able to beat Auburn. So I get it gets weird.
I don't know, man. I think
cost Coach Curry his job.
Yeah.
I think Patrick Nix is still having nightmares of Curry decleating him.
Yeah. I don't see how. Listen, I don't see how Coach Curry lost one game. Well, we ended up losing in the Sugar Bowl. And then he gets fired. That's crazy. Well, I heard why. Somebody told me why he got fired. but it wasn't for the reason we thought.
Right.
Always thought.
I was told
Really?
that in confidence, so I can't.
Nah.
No, I get it, but I think you're right. I think Coach Curry is greatly underappreciated by Alabama fans as a whole. Because if you look at what he did at Alabama, he had arguably his best years as a coach when he was in Tuscaloosa. Great man too. We've had the fortunate ability to talk to him. Awesome dude.
Yeah, and he knew how to. I mean, his defensive coordinator obviously was Bill Oliver, and the offense coordinator was Homer Smith, and he was a genius. I think if Coach Stallings eventually got Homer's to come back, but if he was there instead of Mal, that 92, 93 national championship, we would have blown a lot more teams out. We had
absolutely.
a simplistic offense. Coach Stallings, 3 yards in a cloud of dust. We got a great defense. We want to control the clock. I know we're getting off subject, but yeah.
No, I mean, I know you as running backs, y'all enjoyed it, but I know guys like Prince Wimbley didn't like it at all.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and there was so much talent underutilized in that offensive scheme. That's why I always ask guys like you, like, man, do you watch these new offenses and go like, look, screw the NIL, screw all that. I just want to play in that.
Yeah. Well, Homer Smith, you had Sherman running his offense, and then you saw the difference between Sherman and the offense they ran and then the offense we ran.
Well, your freshman year when Hollingsworth was there, I remember you were catching balls out of the backfield as a freshman.
Yeah, they had me catching balls out of the backfield. Yeah.
I remember it because I happened to be at a game in Jackson, Mississippi, where you scored 64 unanswered points. So
that was an incredible game. Gary Hollingsworth was on fire.
Yes, he was.
Funny story. 10-year-old Daniel looks up at his dad with like a minute and a half, and I did some Mississippi math, and it was like, hey, Dad, if we score every 10 seconds, we can catch up. Guys, this is when I was full Ole Miss. I was in Mississippi. And he just looked down at me, was like, and just gave that dad smile like, yeah, son.
Yeah,
son.
But,
that was amazing. That's when I got introduced to you.
The game Saturday is going to be, I think it's going to come down to the last couple of possessions. And us being at home, I don't want to give it away, but
No, I got you. Well, let's take a look at Oklahoma offensively. We've touched on it already. John Mateer is arguably the best quarterback we faced this season, probably will face. He's at or near 100%. And just like with Ty Simpson, Oklahoma is going to put all their chips on him. He's their top threat. But, Pettey, you mentioned this about them having an anemic running game. They've seemed to have found a running game here lately. Xavier Robinson has become the bell cow, 6.4 yards per carry. And Mateer has a very electric safety valve in Isaiah Santana. I don't know if I'm saying it right.
Oh, man, that kid's a stud. Number 5.
Yes, but also Deion Burks is coming on here as of late. Like I said, Mateer is healthy. But if they expect him to replicate performance like we saw from Diego Pavia versus Auburn, it could be disastrous. Honestly, guys, what kind of threat does John Mateer pose to Alabama? Start us off, Derrick, and then we go to Pettey.
Well, we always have trouble with a quarterback that's mobile. And I think that if we keep him in the pocket, and I know you guys say when he runs, he kind of throws, inaccurately, but I want to keep him in the pocket, and I want him to beat us in the pocket. I don't see him beating us staying in the pocket. Where we have the most trouble is where the quarterbacks get outside of containment and they have that run pass option. Defensively, I'm satisfied with the run game. I know they said the running backs getting kind of hot, but I think our defense run wise is getting hot, or we're peaking at the right time, as Coach Stallings would say. And we're coming along. We're starting to play championship defense because you win championships on defense. And I think our team will go as far as the defense lead us. I know offensively we're going to have to score some points, but since we're having difficulty running the ball, our defense is going to have to turn it up a notch and kind of make up for our lack of running game.
Pettey, I want to bring up something that Derrick made me think about. And it takes me back to last year and the formula that Oklahoma used to beat us. Does Oklahoma change their style of offense to replicate what we saw last year versus Alabama?
I don't think so. I think this is a different team than we had last year, offensively especially.
Yeah, And yeah, it's such a I think it's completely different all the way around because Mateer is such a better passer than Jackson Arnold. Arnold wasn't a threat to throw, and hell, to be honest, either was Alabama's quarterback. So that was a completely different ball game. You basically had two running backs playing against each other at quarterback. Mateer's the X factor in this. One thing that's constant in the history of Alabama football, if you're going to come into Bryant-Denny Stadium and beat them, you kind of got to have a quarterback that'll put his balls in a wheelbarrow and say, let's roll. I'm not scared of this environment. I do think Mateer has a little bit of that. But in that, he's got his gunslinger. He'll throw some interceptions if you let him. Mateer's going to try to make a throw or two a game. And, man, I'll be real. Womack's defense, that's the one thing he kind of preached coming in, and Bama fans were, we're not going to blitz as much, but we're going to create turnovers. Bama's defense does that. And I think this is a game where, again, this goes all the way back to what Derrick said. Whoever wins the turnover battle, Mateer's the X factor. If they're going to win this game, he's got to play a flawless game. But if he plays his normal game, and that's where I'm questioning, he was hurt. He broke his hand. He came back early and played sloppy against Texas. Comes in Ole Miss, it's raining and his hands hurt. So, I mean, I don't know how much that was him. He made a few more passes in Neyland than he had the previous 2 weeks. He made some of the throws on the sideline that I hadn't seen him be able to make. I'm curious, is he getting healthier and healthier? But even before he got hurt, he was throwing an interception or two a game because of that gunslinger mentality. I think Mateer, more than any aspect on the Alabama-Oklahoma side, is the greatest X factors. What does he bring to this game? If he turns it over, I don't think Oklahoma, like you said, it's going to come down to possession, but it's going to come down. Bama's going to have the lead. I'm interested in that. He's the kid. I like Mateer. I think I like his mentality. I like his attitude. I think I've watched I've watched an inordinate amount of Oklahoma football to have forgotten his name earlier. And I've liked what I've seen every time in the post games, even when they've lost. He seems to have just a good head on him. But with that said, he's a walking interception waiting to happen. Bama's just got to be patient, and when it comes, take advantage of it.
You being a Mississippi boy, who does he remind you of?
Who?
Brett Favre.
Brett Favre.
Brett, he's got a little Brett. Because here's the other thing:
Brett can move like that.
He's not a great runner, but he's an effective runner. You know what I'm saying? True. He's got that almost Elway type running where he's not a threat with his legs, but if he gets going with his legs, he can hurt you and extend that 3rd and 6 breaking out, which has been an Achilles heel of Alabama in the past. So again, to win in Bryant-Denny, you got to have great quarterback play, and he's got it in him, but he's also got it in him to play into Alabama's hands, in my mind.
They're coming to beat us at Alabama, at Bryant-Denny, Nick Saban field. You're going to have the ball bounce your way. It's very hard to beat us if the ball doesn't bounce your way because we just there's something about the stadium. We just turn it up a notch. I mean, you don't want to get beat at home. Nobody's coming in your house and whooping you.
Pettey, you mentioned Mateer as being the X factor. I think there's an X factor part B, and that's kicker Tate Sandell, best kicker in the SEC. Hey, we don't like the shorty shorts, but one thing you cannot argue, the dude's got a damn leg. 18 of 19 field goals, long of 55 yards. He's 6 for 6 over 50 yards.
Yeah.
Hey, listen. If he's kicking 50 yards field goals, that means they're going for 3 instead of
That's right.
Instead of 7. So he can kick them 55-yard field goals long. We're kicking extra points.
I do kind of imagine he walked out because Venerable's a little old school, that he walked out in those pants and he was like, what the hell is this? And then he started kicking. He was like, all right, whatever. He's a kicker.
Hey, if Michael Proctor would have walked out looking like that, Derrick, what would Coach Stallings have said?
Hey, have you seen this kid's pants?
Man, you're representing the University of Alabama. What's wrong with you? Plus, we had to have our daggone. The referees would tell us, "Hey, you pull your pants down. They're too high above your knee." Now these kids don't even wear pads. They're
wearing shorts.
They don't no knee pads. They don't wear the mouthpieces.
So
Derrick,
cool. We were playing LSU, and I watched the NFL the week before, and the guys they don't wear hip pads or butt pads, right? So I'm having a good game against LSU. Man, I got hit in the hip and got a hip pointers. Coach Mack, I'll never forget this. He's like, where's your hip pad? I said, I didn't put it on. He said, I bet your ass will put it on next week. He said, now come in here and let's give you a little medicine. I said, he said, you'll see. Yeah, you'll see. And I listen, we're in the shower. I'm feeling good. You know, we done won, and then it wore off. And Derrick Lassic, joker on our team, is next to me in the shower, and it hit me like a bag of rocks. So I fall over to Derrick, and he's like, hey, man, what you doing? You know what I'm saying? I said, oh, my hip. He said, I don't give a damn if you're hip or not. We in the shower naked. And then, so I watch it off, and I go try to find Coach Mack. I said, Coach Mack, I need some more of that medicine. He said, no, we can't give you no more of that. I said, why not? He said, here, take this pill. It didn't work like that shot, though.
I don't care about your bill. We naked in the shower.
Right, that was crazy. Everybody, they janked us for a long time.
So PSA to the young guys.
Pre-Diddy.
Yeah, you're pre-Diddy. No baby oil. No baby oil.
Yes, Keith, that's right. You got the idea.
Hey, speaking of Derrick Oden, Hillcrest represent.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah. D.O. is my boy, man. Derrick, we when I came in, I was Derrick Owens because I still had my mom's maiden name. So we were D.O. So then, you know, when I add the Lassic, they would call me Dol, D-O-L, and they call him D.O. And then he was one of the first guys that talked to me about staying at Alabama because he knew I was getting ready. I was thinking about leaving because, you know, my girlfriend had passed in a car accident. He's like, man, we're going to – Derrick Oden said this in 1989, I think it was. He said, man, don't leave. We're going to win the national championship. You know, that's what he told. He said, man, don't leave. We're going to win the national championship. I was like, oh, yeah, whatever. You know, these are my worries. You know, but he said that to me in 1989.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
a prophet right there.
Yeah. Wait. I mean, he was right there. I wouldn't go that far.
I don't know. You're doing a little bit of prophesying, talking about how you guys played arguably your best offensive game in the national championship. A few weeks ago, I'm talking to Ken Darby, and he says that we're going to play arguably our best games in the playoffs and in the national championship game. So I guess that between you two, you're saying Alabama is going to the national championship game and is going to play their best game. Is that right?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I hope so. Anyway, you know, like Coach Stallings says, do you want to play your best football in the beginning of the year or towards the end of the year? So now we saw what we looked like when we didn't play. We weren't at our best.
Right.
Now we're starting to improve. We haven't quite put it together. Even the Georgia game, we played a good game, but it wasn't our best. So I'm still waiting on those guys to hit on all four cylinders for 4 quarters, both offensively and defensively. It hasn't happened yet, but it will.
It will. All right,
Speaking
it's time.
of the Georgia game, real quick, if anybody's been paying attention to the playoff show, it looks like if things were to go to chalk, which we know the hell they won't, Georgia would be coming back to Alabama, and Georgia would get a rematch, but this one would be in Bryant-Denny.
Yeah, I don't like that when you have teams in the same conference playing in playoff games. I mean, you eliminate your conference. I think they should figure out a way how you can, prevent that from happening.
Well, they got Ole Miss and Texas in round 1.
Well, Texas played Georgia, so either they're going to have 3 losses and Georgia's going to have 2 losses.
It's going to work. It's going to work itself out.
Yeah, it will. It will.
Yeah. The easiest path to the playoffs is Ole Miss, correct?
Ole Miss, yeah, because Ole Miss would get Texas in round 1 at home and then go to Indiana in round 2. Yes, the answer is Ole Miss. If you could handle this right now, everybody in Oxford would be popping champagne and saying, "Sign me the hell up."
No, I mean not that part. I mean the next 3 games. They're
they've got Florida an off week and then at Mississippi State.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think Florida's missing 15 players from what I was told.
They're on full quit watch. They had a kid during the game go to the coach and say, "Don't put me in. I want my red shirt against Kentucky."
Go figure.
All right. Well, let's turn it over. let's turn it over to our audience. They've waited patiently the entire show with their comments
awesome.
and their questions. We'll start out with Ty Simpson Burner, piggybacking on Tan's question. Would Derrick want to play in this offense?
Yes and no.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
I say yes and no because we're running the ball. I mean, we're passing the ball so much because we can't run. Now, is it the running back's fault or is the offensive line fault? You know, you have to have a good offensive line to be able to run the ball. But this style of offense, yes, I would love to play in this style of offense.
Well, and the thing is to kind of look at the offensive line. Yeah, I know we're having our struggles, but there's one glaring point we haven't discussed yet. They keep telling us, and we witnessed with our eyes, Cam Dewberry and Caden Proctor are our two best run blockers, and we don't ever line up and run behind them. Make it make sense. They're the alpha dogs who bully people off the ball. We never run behind them.
Just to drive the Bama fan base nuts. That's it.
Yeah, well,
just to drive very crazy.
Maybe we're saving it for the end of the year.
There you go.
There you go. Hey, we appreciate you, Ty Simpson Burner. And then we got Kenneth Lay. Why are you not talking about the playoff ranking? Well, we just did.
I did. You're welcome.
Hey, listen, because we don't know it yet. You know, there's a lot of football to be played, so that's looking too far ahead.
And you just nailed it. I mean, Georgia and Texas about to knock each other off this week.
Yeah, and we still have to play Oklahoma and Auburn. You know, those aren't gimme games.
Not at all.
I think the playoff picture is going to look a lot different than it does today.
And look, I love the Ole Miss is the shoe in. They've got the easiest route. That's still Ole Miss. You do realize they could fully Ole Miss at any moment.
I don't. Petty, there's no, even if they tried at this point, there's no way.
Full, dude. Oh, buddy.
I think this is a different Ole Miss team. You know, I think
it's different.
They're a little more focused because they're feeling like, hey, if we can get in the playoffs and win some games, we'll keep our coach and we can build on this thing. We have a chance to win a national championship. You know what I'm saying? Right. If coach stays here, but if we don't play well, that may give coach an incentive to leave. So I think Ole Miss is playing for more than just, you know, a playoff berth in a national championship. They're playing to retain their coach.
I don't think he's leaving, to be honest with you, Derrick. He's
Why
got everything he needs. He's got everything he needs there. He's at the point to where he could, if he needs resources, he needs money, whatever, all he's got to say is, hey, get me this, and they'll give it to him.
Yeah. Well, and everybody's like, well, you can get the talent at Florida. He had 7 guys go in last year's draft, and he lost 3 games. This year's team isn't as talented, but is going further off the mental makeup. It's not a talent thing. He's proven the talent can get there. I think it's a – I think y'all both right. It's a interesting thing. But, look, the Ole Miss people, trust me, they still are expecting, like, Mississippi State to just break their hearts.
Yeah, but, you know, Ole Miss is expecting that. Florida is expecting – national championships out of a mediocre team. Their fan base is
crazy,
naive. They're you know.
Well, and that's that. And they are stuck in a time machine. They haven't realized that football's evolved, and that's one thing Bama did quick. Saban kind of blinded Bama for a minute that football was changing because they were still getting players because of Saban, who Saban was, and weren't having to go all into the NIL. Well, as soon as it kind of flipped, it took a second, and now Bama's right back in it. But you're dead on. But Bama was quick. Georgia, those programs were quick to say, hey, we got to change with it. Florida, it's a very weird paradox where they don't realize that their NIL isn't one of the top in the league, and that's what makes it now. But the brand and NIL together, then you got a powerhouse. You got Bama, you got Georgia, you got whatever. But if you don't have the other, the name brand isn't going to just carry anymore, and that's what a lot of people don't get.
Thank you, Kenneth. Let's go to our guy, Jimmy Clay. $10. Thank you so much, Jimmy. We always glad to have you in the audience. Saw these 3 guys in Dothan, Alabama. Roll Tide.
So who's the 10? So who's the 10 for? Which one of us?
Well, since what we're going to do is we're going to
split it.
We're going to have the Oklahoma drill, and the best out of those 3 will get to walk away or stumble away.
Well, then just give the damn money to Derrick. He's found the fountain of youth, and he was already 27,000 times more athletic than us. So
no, I'm just kidding. Hey, Jim, Mr. Clay, thank you for the contribution. You know, I know we all appreciate it. The guys appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Roll Tide.
Hey, but Derek, I did mention to you the other day, if you ever wanted to get in the podcasting game, you could actually get donations like that. Just saying.
Tell you what, and Jimmy Clay, that night in Dothan was really cool. A lot of people got to spend a lot of time with a lot of Alabama legends. Our man right here, Mr. Lassic, was there. Roosevelt Patterson, Antonio Langham. Our boy that's not here tonight, Marvin Constant, was there. It was
Dennis
a really
Riddle.
cool night. Dennis Riddle. Man, how did I forget D. Riddle, man? I was sitting there chilling with him.
He was running that ball too, Bama. We forget about D. Riddle because
I'm telling you,
he needs his flowers. He needs his flowers. You're absolutely right.
It was tough.
Maybe the most underrated of the Bama
he was
backs.
So shifty, so smooth. I really enjoyed watching him play.
I mean, he was tough too, man.
He's one of those too, man. He got that.
He's one of the. No, he's one of those guys.
Don't get on a poker table with him. He's a heck of a poker player. He can play some Texas Hold'em.
I believe it.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, man, he's one of those backs that as the game goes on would always get stronger. And if you needed something to happen, you put the ball in his hands, Riddle's going to do it. He's got Daniel Moore commemorate one of those moments.
He's got that motor. Like Saran Stacy had that motor. They don't get tired. It's like he looks the same way in the fourth quarter as he did in the first quarter. That was one of Saran's great gifts. He was very elusive, but Saran could run all day.
He could. God, great backs. I missed that.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, Jimmy. Joe Edwards, do you think that coaches need to leave the running backs in the game longer to get a feel of the game instead of one or two plays, then rotate them out?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You need to get a feel of the game. If you're coming out every series, you can't get in the rhythm of the game. I mean, have your every down back, have your third down back. Have a game plan. If the running back gets tired, tap your helmet. Let the coach know he's tired. That's how we did it.
Well, I want to ask you that in this new era of running back, the way blocking for the quarterback wasn't a part of what y'all practice in high school, and it wasn't as much of what you practice in college. Now it's the written rule. Like if you want to play running back, you better be able to block first. Mm-hmm. How much does the running back not being able to block keep him off the field because it makes an offense one-dimensional because you know what's happening while he's in the game? Is that why some of these guys aren't getting a chance to play as much?
No, it was the same way. It was the same when we played. If you couldn't pass protect, if you didn't know your assignment, you weren't playing. You had to know the blitz pickup and everything like that. You miss a block and the quarterback gets hit, you coming out the game. And when we played, chances are you weren't going back in. So, you have to know it. And defenses know, if they know they have a young running back starting or getting a lot of playing time, the defensive coordinator is going to call some exotic blitzes to confuse them. So, nowadays, these guys see the running backs coming in. They know personnel. So the defensive coach knows what to do. He knows if he should blitz, fake the blitz to confuse the back, So it was more disguised when we played because, we didn't have all the technology they have now. Talking to the quarterback in the ear and stuff like that. And
good stuff.
Hey, thank you, Joe. We appreciate that. We're going to go to Plow Jogger, 1776. The team that handles pressure on the quarterback will win. Thoughts in regards to the Oklahoma game? Pettey, what do you feel?
I like that. I agree. And I think that favors Bama.
Yeah, I got one thing that, yes, Oklahoma's defense is terrifying, but if they're not getting to Ty Simpson by the time that ball's out, they're neutralized. And that's one thing Ty does well. There's a list of them, but that ball leaves his hand very quickly.
Yeah, it does normally, but I think he was holding on to the ball, pressing a little like the running back Saturday. And I think he held on to the ball a couple of times a little too long. That clock, that 3-second clock has to, go get rid of the ball or run it, but don't try. That's why he fumbled the ball. Whenever he tries to extend the play too much in the pocket, bad things happen.
Well, and that's a good, and with the exotic blitzes and Venerables is going to bring pressure. I wonder how much Grubb is going to slide the pocket and maybe move him over and get him out to kind of counteract the blitzes coming and get away from it or slide or get the, play out of the blitz. I'll be interested in how that goes.
Yeah, move the pocket, as I say.
Yeah.
You know, it's not, you don't have to have a rollout, but instead of dropping,
slide the pocket.
backs,
Yeah.
All right, RTR Mimi, how do we shut down Mateer? Pettey, this is something that you were really high on as far as Mateer goes. What's the key?
Get him on the move. Hit him in the mouth. Start getting to him. You got to rattle him a little bit. Don't let him get comfortable.
I think defensively we have to, fool them with some of our looks and our coverages.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. And one thing about Mateer, if you can get in his head early enough, he's neutralized for the rest of the game. But that's the biggest thing. Tennessee couldn't figure it out. They had a brief window, but they never would seal the deal.
And
force them to throw the ball, force them to get up on them 14, 17 points where they become one-dimensional. And, we can handle them once they're one-dimensional. We don't have to worry about the running game, which has been coming on as of late.
And look, guys, it's going to be tough. Their defense is going to be tough, but this is still a team that up until Tennessee hadn't scored 30 points in an SEC game since joining the league. It's not an offensive juggernaut. Mm-hmm. And Alabama's defense, Kane Womack may be one of the best outside of Kirby Smart at Georgia. Alabama's second half adjustments this year on defense have been unbelievable. I think Womack can shut this defense. I mean, I expect him to be able to get Mateer's number.
You keep saying Womack, but I think Nick Saban has a red phone.
I think you're absolutely right.
He made that.
Hey, listen, this is what y'all need to do.
No, he's gonna pick up the phone and he's gonna say, "What's up, Coach Saban? We ain't running that shit."
I tell you what, if he's calling me, I'm still answering. What? Okay,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
But thank you, RTR Mimi. Then we got Ty Simpson Burner. This is the kind of game where low effort plays will cost us. Abso-freaking-lutely. I agree right there.
Well, whenever you play in the SEC, anytime you have low effort plays, it's going to cost you. And this is not the Big Ten or what's the other one?
The Big 12.
The Big 12, that junior high school league.
I mean,
Texas Tech now they're men now. They can play now.
They can ball.
Yeah.
I think that was the first ranked win since 2008 for Texas Tech, actually. This past Saturday against BYU.
What, Arizona State was it?
No.
Who did they lose to Texas Tech?
No, Texas Tech beat Texas back in 2008. That's the last time that Texas Tech
beat a ranked team?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
And Texas was number one. It pushed us to number one after that.
That was the I dreamed it in my head game, right?
Mm-hmm.
Crabtree. I dreamed it in my head last night. Well, I assume you didn't dream it in somebody else's head, but yeah, that's when he made the big catch to beat him. Man, that was a hell of a game. I remember that. But I'm with Derrick though. This is the new era. This is again like Florida. Well, yeah, but 1995 we had Steve Spurrier. Well, this ain't 95, and Texas Tech has got. They're doing it right for sure.
Yeah. Our kicking game is sound. I think our kicking game, we do well on punts, kickoff, and he missed the field goal, but he redeemed himself. So I'm satisfied with our kicking game.
Yeah, Connor Talty has been criticized the entire year. Of course, hey, look, nobody is going to be what Will Reichard was to us, but when it's mattered, like we saw against LSU, Connor Talty came through.
Isn't Will Reichard still he's kicking in the NFL for the Minnesota Vikings, right?
He just broke an NFL record for the longest field goal.
Exactly.
So I wish I would have had him on fantasy team.
Make many of the Will Reichers.
No. All right, Keith Holcomb, can we get one of those kids off game day to come kick for us?
Not that bastard that kicked it sideways.
God.
Hey, I believe in Connor.
Our kicker's not that bad.
Yeah, he's not that bad. Now that's not the Vandy kid, the kid from Vandy that they're like, oh yeah, I'm an engineer that played soccer. Now he may be one to look into, but I'm like you guys. I think Talty's kids coming off Reichard. It's kind of a tough act to follow.
That's a tough nut to crack. That's like the running backs coming after Sean Alexander and Derrick Henry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Not like they're bad. They're just not that good. Not as good.
I don't know. Shad Williams was a good back at coming after Sean Alexander. All right, Plow Jogger, we got a super chat, $2. Thank you, veterans. Yes, thank you, veterans, for your service. This is your day. I hope you've had a fantastic day. We definitely appreciate your service. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
All right.
my brother's retired Air Force. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, vets. Spent my day raising money for you guys on a golf course. So that's how I spent my Veterans Day. So yes, absolutely. Thank you, veterans.
Hey, listen, no show is complete unless Don Parker is talking to us, and this time it's with $20. Thank you, brother. Salute to all my fellow veterans. Roll Tide.
Mr. Parker, thank you for that NIL 20.
Yeah.
That's going straight to Lassic's son, who we are grooming right now to be the next 2-5.
Hey,
Absolutely.
I'm going to forward it to the Bama Standard.
Well, according to the Pavia rule, Derrick, you actually probably have some eligibility left. So if you got a few downs left in you, we know you can pop the hole pretty quick. Come on,
man. I look like I look like Tarzan, but I'll play like Jane.
You get
You definitely look like Tarzan.
You can get a yard for fourth down, right?
Now I don't know about that. Y'all may be calling me. Y'all may say, "What's wrong with the back at Alabama?" I thought the other ones were bad.
Hey, but thank you again, Don. We greatly appreciate you. We got Coach Al here. Here's a question I didn't even think about. Why not use Michael Carroll as a tight end? Give him experience. Remember Michael Williams and Levi, not Levi Randolph. That was his brother. Played basketball for us. Converted tackles. Our tight ends lack physicality at the point of attack, and it leads to breakdown in our run game. Cuevas is a hell of a pass-catching tight end, and I think that he's underappreciated for what he does, especially on those wheel routes. If you throw it up, he's coming down with it. But in terms of blocking standpoint, that's where we're missing some physicality, like Coach Al said, and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Daniel Lewis has been hurt. He hasn't been the pass catcher. He hasn't been the flashy guy, but one thing that goes unnoticed is his physicality and his ability to handle business, and we've definitely been missing him. But do you think we even consider something like Michael Carroll at tight end, guys?
Hell, our right side of our line's been so damn bad. I didn't even the tight ends have nothing to do with that. First, we got to get the guards and tackles to block. I'm just saying. I'm saying stating the obvious. I hadn't gotten
also
because our right tackle and right guard have been so terrible.
Also, Coach Al, why don't we also consider freshman tight end Marshall Pritchett? That dude is a physical specimen. He is an absolute dog. I'm kind of surprised we haven't seen him much to this point. That would be another consideration, putting him out there. But that's going to actually wrap up our Q&A segment. So thank you to everyone who contributed. Thank you to all the super chats. Now here comes the most important part of the entire show to wrap everything up. Prediction time. We're going to go with Daniel Pettey first, and then we'll let Derrick give his prediction. How are we feeling, guys? Start us out, Pettey.
Man, I actually think it looks a lot like last week, like maybe to a T, with maybe not as lifeless on the offensive side from Oklahoma's quarterback. I think Alabama pulls away late. I think it's a grind out. I do think it's a big defensive game, but I think this one Alabama wins in the 27-14 range.
Okay. Derrick?
Alabama's going to win by 4 points.
Can't sell anxiety without
Derrick,
that's what I feel. They're going to win by 4 points.
I'll tell you how many they'll win by when I know where the money's at in Vegas, because I'll be honest, I'm about 100,000% my belief of Vegas running sports for the past 5 years that keeps daily coming more to fruition. Told y'all, man.
It's 7 now. And at some spots it's 6.5.
Man, I told everybody the morning of the South Carolina game, 93% of the money in Vegas was on Alabama, and nobody with a brain that had watched football could tell you at that point with the trajectory of Alabama and South Carolina that Bama wasn't going to win that game by 30 points. The line was 10, not moving, and 92% of the money. I was like, Vegas is about to make some money, and nobody's going to understand why. Sure enough, it was a tight game. I'm sorry to be that guy, but I'm with you, man. If you say that, I'm going to have to see where the money – if the money's all on Alabama, you might be right. I'll give Bama by 4, but –
yeah.
So no break on our blood pressure until next week versus Eastern Illinois, folks. That's kind of been the way it has been the entire season. Why change now, even though I'd greatly appreciate it. But Tough as Nails brings up a very good point. Home field advantage will bring us home.
You know
what? You had
Well,
an interesting quote. You said, since coming in the SEC, Oklahoma hasn't done what?
But prior to the Tennessee game, they hadn't scored 30 points in an SEC game. That was their first time doing it.
Yeah,
and a lot of that was defensive based.
I don't know if we're going to score 30 on that defense. That defense is pretty tough. I'm thinking more 24-20, 19-23, something like that.
So first team to 20 carries away the win. Got it.
Yes.
I mean, I just understand.
I won't be shocked by that. I expect this to be a physical, old school SEC football game between two freaking blue bloods.
What's the weather going to be like down there?
73 degrees. Very pleasant.
Oh, yeah. So that's football weather there. So, yeah.
All right. Hey, we appreciate everyone for being with us tonight. Before you head out the door, hit the like and subscribe button, but also follow these folks you see on the panel here. Start us out, Pettey, and then we'll go to Derrick.
Hey, catch me at Pettey_Daniel on the X, and always here on Tuesday nights at 6 Central, 7 Eastern, and then after this at 8 Central, 9 Eastern on the final whistle with all those madmen. But, man, these nights are always special. I love doing this show. I always love talking Bama football. It's a passion. But, man, on nights like this, when you get to share the stage with someone like Derrick Lassic, buddy, even though you piss me off because you've got the fountain of youth and you won't tell me where it's at, I still getting to share wings with this man in Dothan and watch a Dallas football game that I watched years back and break it down. One of the cooler moments, but always a cool night with the man, Derrick Lassic.
Absolutely.
So, good stuff.
Yeah, I could be reached at DLassic_25 on what do they call it now? Instagram.
Insta X.
Yeah, whatever. I'm old school. I enjoyed this.
Yeah.
I'm usually real busy doing stuff with my son, and today he had a break. So I was able to jump in, and hey, let me do it. I'm ready.
Man.
But
I think you found the fountain of youth drinking out the hose pipe in New York.
Bama Standard, we appreciate you. Roll Tide.
Yeah, man. Thank you so much, Derrick. Thank you to everyone. Yes, Mimi, greatly appreciate you being on tonight too. You're a great replacement for Marvin Constant, actually.
A lot prettier.
At least you can get words in elsewise.
Right? We got to talk tonight. This is the first time people have heard me talk, Derrick.
Yeah. Hey, no, it doesn't sound like.
And what happened? You got rid of Steve?
He has moved on full-time comedy, brother. So
okay, yeah.
Pettey is the comic relief now.
Okay,
and I'm not near as funny, so we're screwed.
Okay.
So we're trying to reinvent ourselves. So but we'll make it all happen. But that's going to
unless I go on a Hugh Freeze rant or get pissed off about the Denny dog. I just don't have it.
Yeah,
which it's been a few weeks since the Denny dog explosion. So I feel like it's coming. But hey, I'll remind everyone, check us out immediately following every game. We'll be live for the Bama Standard post-game show, giving you our instant reactions. But that's going to do it for all of us. Thank you again to everyone in the audience who has voiced their opinions. If you're watching the replay, get in the comment section. Show us some love there. Hit the like and subscribe button. If you're watching on Twitter, X, come on over to our channel. Subscribe, be a part of the family. We'd love to have you. That's going to do it for all of us here at the Bama Standard. Roll Tide, everyone.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.